Welcome to my greenhouse. It's March. Got my tomato seeds are in the starters over there. Nothing's up yet, but things should start popping out pretty soon. I was thinking about my granddad the other day, and I realized that my children don't know him. He died before most of them were born. My oldest son was just a baby, and so all they really know about him is a handful of stories and some photographs. They never really got a chance to know who their great-grandfather was. Being a grandfather myself, I began thinking about my great-grandchildren and what it would be like to tell some stories for them. And so that's kind of the whole idea of the Greenhouse Dialogues, is just an opportunity for me to sit down and share some stories from my life that probably mean nothing to most anybody, but hopefully it's a record that will exist years and years from now. And when I'm dead and gone, maybe my great-grandkids can get to know me just a little bit better. Stories are random. I figure I'll just tell them as they come, and got plenty of time, plenty of camera, and there's no rush, so yeah, we'll see what happens. The story I really wanted to tell first, for no particular reason, is the night that my friend Mike and I, when we were in high school, we had a choral concert, and I don't remember where the concert was. I know we were on a bus, and we got back to McEachern High School. This would have been 1980, and we both had fights with our girlfriends on the bus. I don't know what the fights were about. I just remember when we got off the bus, we were ticked. And so we, being 17, came up with this great idea. We decided that we would tell my mom that I was spending the night at Mike's house, and we would tell Mike's mom that he was spending the night at my house. We would throw my guitar into the back of my 1972 Chevrolet Impala, and we would take off for the coast, where we would sit on the beach at sunrise playing guitar and singing songs and experiencing a sunrise on the beach. So that was our idea. We decided that we were going to go east to the ocean. We'd been north, we'd been south, and that was the plan. It was a good plan, except for the fact that we didn't understand our geography very well, because to get to the coast from Atlanta, you actually have to go south and then go east to get over to Savannah, to the coast. But we didn't know that. We just drove out around 10, 11 o'clock at night, got on I-20, and headed east. Well, like I said, I had a 1972 gold Chevrolet Impala, 4-door, had a 350 engine in it, had 2 ball tires on the back, and the spare in the trunk was flat. I was actually riding on the spare tire. The car had all kind of problems, but it had a full tank of gas. We had a pack of cigarettes and a guitar, and we were on our way. And we drove and drove and drove through the night. We got into Augusta, Georgia, around, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Drove on into South Carolina across the Savannah River, and I-20 actually kind of ended when you got to the Georgia-South Carolina border, and we were on just a 4-lane road driving east, and got to Aiken, South Carolina, and realized we needed gas, and so we pulled into this little gas station, got out, and I'll never forget the lady who was running this all-night gas station asked if we were runaways. And we assured her that we were not runaways, but that we were heading to the coast to watch the sunrise on the beach. And it was her who told us that we were still about 2.5, 3 hours away from the coast at that point, even though we'd been in the car for about 3 hours at that point. So we were still determined to go east, watch the sunrise over the ocean, play our songs on the guitar, and then get up, drive back home, and be home before school was out. No one would ever know that we were gone. So we got back in the car, headed on east, and we hadn't gone, I don't know, maybe a mile, 2 miles, and the engine coughed. It just went, and the whole car shuddered. It didn't shut off. It just shuddered. And I looked at Mike, and he looked at me, and without a word, we turned the car around and began going west back toward Atlanta, because we thought that was probably a sign that we had gone as far east as we needed to go. And so, of course, we were driving and driving and driving through the night on bald tires, listening to Queen on the cassette deck and singing every song that we knew. And we got back into Atlanta around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark. And as we were driving in, there was this big flash of light, lit up the entire night sky. We had no idea what it was. And we continued on and got to Mike's house and crawled into his bedroom and went to sleep, because we'd been up all night long by this point. And woke up the next morning and found out that actually there had been a major blackout in Atlanta. A huge transformer had blown in the city, and we actually saw it happen. Not too many people were up at that time of the day, but we were there and saw it happen. Now, of course, my mom found out that we had lied, and Mike's mom found out that we had lied, and the school found out that we had skipped, and there was all kind of hell to pay for all of the terrible things we had done in our trip east. But looking back on it now, it was worth it. And even though my friend and I never got to the coast together, in all of our lives we never made it to the beach, I'm really glad that on that particular night we gave it a try. Well, for what it's worth, it's a real story. And I'm glad you're with me. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll do this again. Salute.